October 2016, Beijing. Inside the Great Hall of the People, thousands are waiting for a woman who would change their fate. On stage, the host begins to introduce the next speaker. Heads turn. A woman makes her way to the stage, and the room erupts. The crowd begins chanting her name in unison. Hua Hua! Hua Hua! She reaches the podium and raises one hand. With absolute certainty, she says, "Give Gerui 3 years, and Gerui will give you wealth for 3 lifetimes." The crowd explodes into applause. But soon, their lives would change in ways none of them could imagine. In 2013, the price of Bitcoin shot up from $13 to nearly $1,200. The Chinese market was flooded with new buyers, marking China's year zero of Bitcoin. As people rushed in, the boom opened the door for a new idea: Bitcoin mining farms. Lantian Gerui was one of the companies that jumped on that idea. The company was established in March 2014. They mainly focused on Bitcoin farming and smart products related to elderly care. But their main product was a Bitcoin mining machine priced at 20,000 yuan. But they had a genius pitch: buy the machines and lease them back to the company. They would mine the coins and pay you 160 yuan every single day. The deal sounded perfect. So, almost every investor took it. And every morning, people woke up to a notification on their phones saying their dividends had arrived. Day after day after day. It was too good to be true. The mastermind behind it was Qian Zhimin. Qian wasn't some random entrepreneur. She studied mathematics and cryptography at Tsinghua University, one of the top tech schools in China. She then worked in the United States and became convinced that digital currency was the future. And thus, she returned to China with a mission to make her homeland the center of global finance, and Bitcoin as the new benchmark. But what really set Qian apart was her patriotism. She spoke constantly about serving the people and the state. She even rejected all foreign investment, claiming she wanted to keep Lantian Gerui purely Chinese. This made investors love her even more. With Bitcoin's price climbing day by day, her predictions started to look accurate. People began to worship her as an investment goddess. They even gave her the nickname Hua Hua, which means little flower, a name they used with real affection. In 2015, the Chinese government promoted new startup platforms, and Lantian Gerui used the situation to launch the Little Blue Air Purifier, which purified 3 cubic meters of air around its user. People loved the idea, as air pollution and smog in northern China were a huge problem. This boosted the company's image as a true innovator, and people poured every penny they had into the business. Every day, their phones lit up with a ding, telling them their dividends had arrived. To them, that little sound was proof that their dreams were finally coming true. On March 25, 2016, Lantian Gerui Technology signed a cooperation agreement with the Baodi District government of Tianjin for the Smart Bracelet Project, a device meant to help elderly people with daily living. Many political leaders attended the ceremony, including Qian Zhimin, then secretary of the Baodi District Committee. This official endorsement pushed investor confidence to a new level. If the government backed it, doubting Hua Hua meant doubting the Chinese government itself. And thus, Lantian Gerui begins holding massive promotional events inside the Great Hall of the People, one of the most prestigious venues in all of China. Thousands of investors pack these gatherings, bringing their families and friends. But the main attraction was always Hua Hua and her speeches. At one event, she stands before the crowd and declares with absolute conviction, Lantian Gerui is already at the forefront of the 4th Industrial Revolution. Hua Hua rose to near mythic status, and her slogan, "Give green 3 years and green will give you 3 generations of wealth," became gospel to the investors. Then, In May 2017, Bitcoin hit $1,800, and Huahua unveils her masterstroke, Britain Nice Life Insurance. It claimed to be the world's only insurance company offering property insurance for digital currencies. This reduced the fear around crypto investment and made digital currency feel safe for ordinary people. People rushed in with their money, and within just 6 months, the company pulled more than 20 billion yuan in investments. In just 3 years, Qian Zhimin had attracted nearly 130,000 investors and raised a staggering 43 billion yuan, roughly $6 billion US. Huahua is ready to change people's lives, but she's about to change them in a way no one expected. July 27th, 2017. Just a normal Thursday morning. Across China, 130,000 investors wake up and check their phones, waiting for that familiar notification. But on this day, nothing comes. At first, people assume it's a technical glitch. Maybe the payment system is down. They refresh their apps, restart their phones, and check their bank accounts. Still nothing. By afternoon, panic is setting in. Online forums explode with worried messages. Then, Huahua posts an update. The delay is due to changes in national financial policies. The company is upgrading its systems. Everything will be fine. The company promised that dividends would be paid by the end of August. Investors waited, hoping the delay was real. But the money never came. The investors finally went to the police. That's when reality hit them hard. Qian Zhimin had already been seized by the Tianjin Public Security Bureau back in July. The offices were empty, the systems were shut down, and the entire management team, including Huahua, was on the run. Then comes the final blow. On September 4th, China banned all cryptocurrency trading. Bitcoin crashed, and whatever hope investors were clinging onto collapsed with it. The Britain Nice Life Insurance and its promised safety were all fake. No real company would ever insure something as volatile as cryptocurrency. In reality, Huahua's entire operation was nothing more than a Ponzi scheme. And after the collapse, Huahua disappeared with everyone's money. Moreover, nobody knew anything about this former goddess of wealth. No one knew her real age, where she came from, whether she had a family, not even her real name. She'd become a ghost. After escaping China, Qian then converted Qian Zhimin's assets into bitcoins, obtained a fake passport under the name Zhang Yadi, and fled to London. By 2018, Qian had settled into a 6-bedroom house in the posh neighborhood of Hampstead, North London. She then hired a takeaway worker, Wen Jian, as her assistant. But Qian rarely left the house and spent her days playing video games and shopping online. Her closet was packed with dresses and jewelry, but then her interests shifted to houses. Not ordinary ones, but mansions. Wen finally found a property in Totteridge for her boss, with 8 bedrooms, a gym, and a sauna. The money was agreed to be transferred in bitcoins. Everything moved smoothly until the property lawyer asked one simple question. Where did the bitcoin come from? Wen explained that her boss had mined these coins in 2012, but when the lawyers checked the blockchain data, the dates didn't match her story. The lawyers immediately contacted the police. The next day, Detective Inspector Joe Ryan led a raid on the Hampstead house. Officers seized every laptop, tablet, and USB drive in the house. But there was something unusual about the house.
Cash almost everywhere. Thousands of pounds, bundles of £20,000 here, £12,000 there, envelopes with money in. There was even a coat hanging up in a cupboard that had £3,000 in the pocket.
Ryan knew this was bigger than a simple property fraud. He ordered a full blockchain investigation. The results exposed her true identity. Zhang Yadi's real name was Qian Zhimin, and she was a wanted fugitive of the Chinese police. But by the time the truth became clear, Qian had already vanished again. The UK police were again in the dark. Still, investigator Ryan knew one thing. Sooner or later, they had to surface if they wanted to cash in their Bitcoin.
When Miss Qian didn't mix in criminal circles in the UK. So they didn't really know the best way of laundering, and they were trying to do the best that they could, which wasn't particularly good.
And just as he predicted, in August 2020, Ryan caught Wen Jian while she was trying to sell Bitcoin for cash. Using the intel gathered from her, the Metropolitan Police finally cracked the encrypted laptop seized back in 2018. The results left Chief Investigator Ryan stunned. Inside Huahua's wallets were 61,000 bitcoins, worth about 1.2 billion pounds. As an anti-money laundering investigator, Ryan had never seen so much money in his entire life. He had enough evidence to build a case, but Qian was still nowhere to be found. They were convinced she had left the country, but in 2024, everything changed. A CCTV camera caught her by chance, and once the police confirmed the identity, they moved in fast.
The Chinese woman at the center of the UK's biggest ever cryptocurrency seizure. After several years on the run, police finally arrest Qian Zhimin.
The Chinese crypto queen pled guilty to money laundering.
After her arrest, Qian denied everything. She claimed she was only escaping a Chinese government crackdown on crypto entrepreneurs and insisted the evidence from Chinese police was false. She even put on an act as a last desperate move.
I went to get her from the cell to bring her into the interview room, and she was walking very hunched over, walking very slowly, very small steps. Now, bear in mind, I'd seen her on CCTV a couple of weeks earlier, so I knew she could walk normally. So this is all part of the act that she's trying to portray, that she's infirm, trying to encourage people to feel sorry for her.
During the arrest, police discovered something extraordinary. A detailed plan to purchase a micronation called Liberland, located between the borders of Croatia and Serbia. She wanted to make herself its queen and gain diplomatic immunity. Despite her theatrics, the evidence was overwhelming. Qian suddenly pleaded guilty to her charges. On November 11, 2025, Southwark Crown Court sentenced Qian Zhimin to 11 years in prison. Her conviction brought some justice to the victims, but they are still waiting for their money. The UK government is currently trying to identify the rightful owners of the seized money, but it's extremely hard for victims to prove their claims. And even if they do, no one knows whether they will receive only their original investment or the full value after Bitcoin's massive rise. Since 2017, Bitcoin has jumped nearly 20 times, and the seized 61,000 coins are now worth more than £5 billion, making it the biggest cryptocurrency seizure in UK history. Qian Zhimin systematically cheated her investors and left thousands of people in ruins. But what if your entire savings account vanished in an instant and the exchange itself collapsed? If you want to know more, check out our previous video on Mt. Gox, the first ever crypto exchange, and how it collapsed overnight.